Well, we are excited to have Danyel Rogers with us to talk about her project called Warrior Women. How are you, Danyel?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing well. Tell us all about your project and how you got started and what it means, and give us all the details.
All the deets.
All the
Oh my goodness, where do I start? Well, um, the Warrior Women portrait experience really began after being diagnosed with cancer myself. Um, as you can see, there is some really as going through a cancer diagnosis, it really makes you feel as though you are not as strong as you think you are. And in all honesty, we are very strong. We're kind of thrown into this battle. It's not something that you sign up for. And after my diagnosis, I knew I needed to do something to give back to the community, but also to remind myself that I too am strong. Because I think as women, we have a really big tendency to kind of shrink ourselves, right? It's regardless of, it can be kind of intimidating for community to see a strong female. And this whole thing just came about as I just brainstormed different ideas on what I actually wanted to do. And, obviously I was diagnosed in 2022 in July. I was triple negative, which is the most rare breast cancer that you can get. It's lucky me. And all that really means is they don't know what feeds the cancer. Most of the women, it's fed by hormones, and that's about 90% of the women. And I was a lucky one that they didn't know what actually was feeding it. So they had to go at it really aggressively. And I did a double mastectomy in August. I opted to stay flat without reconstruction. That was my personal choice. And I've actually been an advocate for it for trying to get the word out, because it's not a very well it's not an option that's actually given to every woman. A lot of people, a lot of doctors feel it's necessary for a woman to have breasts to be a woman. And so I'm also advocating for not needing to go through multiple surgeries and pain, and then possibly just your body might reject them anyways. So in August, I had my double mastectomy. September, I started chemo. Um, and as you can see, my husband was a complete rock star. I had to do 4 rounds of chemo, and then December 27th was my last surgery, where they pulled my chemo port, did some revisions, and closed me up. So I am officially 1 year out. And after I was feeling better and actually starting to heal earlier on in 2023, I really started brainstorming what I wanted to do for this experience, for this community. And the more I got to do getting the ideas, I really wanted to empower women and have it be more about their internal strength. I find it really hard for women to actually do that. And because of that, I am doing these in groups of 4 women. And in the process, it allows them, they all have the very common bond. No one in the studio at the time is not going to know about the experience. If I have someone coming in to shoot behind the scenes, they have been through it. If I have an assistant doing any background admin stuff, I want them to know how the experience is, because it's very relatable, and it allows the women to actually have some common or comfortability within their own bodies, knowing that we as women have all gone through that experience. And being able to do it in a group of 4 women, you're able to really connect with these ladies. And I tell people, I'm like, all you have to do is come with 20% of confidence, and then we fill in the rest. The ladies show up at the studio, and, we don't care what kind of cancer they've had. We don't care what their treatment plan was. It's, and also the way I've worked this is because it's a warrior session. It doesn't matter where you're at in your journey. It could be you're still in chemo and don't have hair, and it still plays. You go into, the Wakanda women, you go Mad Max, you go all these little areas, and so it doesn't matter if you have hair, because ultimately it's just about your strength. It's not about your chest. It's not about your cancer. It's totally, it's just all about recognizing the strength that you have had without having to choose it. And the warrior experience, people get really nervous about doing their makeup. And I always tell them that, cancer is messy. War is messy. There is no perfection in cancer. There is none. So you don't want the makeup to be perfect. I don't want to come in and have someone do their makeup, because it's all about them transferring themselves into whatever warrior they may be. Some women choose to go a more elegant look. Some women want to go more grungy, and it's ultimately their choice. But in the end, they all start collaborating with each other, and it's just a really beautiful thing to watch. And, the women always, a lot of them say, like, what am I going to do with these images, after I've done this session? I'm like, you're going to freaking hang it on the wall and showcase that, because, why wouldn't you? And you've come, you've had to fight the fight, and you're on the other end, and, every day isn't going to be a good day. Even though a lot of women are done with treatment, they're not actually done. They will never actually be done. And so to have that be a reminder, that you are a warrior. And then on top of that, I think it's a beautiful thing for your children to see and showcase, having a young daughter have permission to feel that strength in her, and for a little boy to see their mom as a strong individual and be accepting of that. I think that's a very humanizing thing that the community needs and the society needs more of. And it's just a blast. What I do is everything from start to finish. I ask the ladies to show up to the studio with just black leggings and a loose top. All the images are from the waist up, and I provide all the makeup, all the jewelry, hair accessories. I have a crimper, for gosh sakes. I didn't think I would ever own a crimper after the 80s, but I do. Jewelry. My husband actually made a bow out of PVC pipe, which was bananas to me. The UPS man is kind of funny. He hands me these packages, and he's like, what do we have in here today? And I'm like, well, we might have a dagger, we might have a sword, you might have, some random things, because I want these ladies to just show up and have everything provided for them. I have a ton of looks that they can do. And ultimately, I am just going to let them tell me what look they want to do, and then provide them with the tools that allow them to do that. And I want them to actually do the experience by doing it themselves. I do help as needed, but I feel like it's really important for the ladies to transform themselves, because it's a process, and it also gets you more comfortable. Think of it as Beyonce would say, it's your inner Sasha Fierce. So, really kind of their alter ego. And allowing them the comfort to just play dress up. I mean, as women, we're all about dress up, in the younger years being princesses. And I find this just really appealing, to be able to allow women to feel super, super strong. Um, as you can see, they get into it. Everybody's looks different, and it's a personal preference. If someone wants more simplicity, and a lot of these women don't know each other showing up. And so, it allows them to have some connections, with women that they would have never connected with before. And I know I've personally met some extremely amazing women who I call my friend today, because of the fact that we've all gone through this experience and we understand what that looks like. And I recently, in October of 2023, I took this whole experience to San Francisco. There was an international flat day, is October 7th. And so a huge group of us, like I said before, I chose not to reconstruct. And there's a huge movement to really showcase the fact that, not reconstructing is an option. So we went there as a community, but because I was able to bring this to San Francisco, I was able to give this experience to not just people locally here in Oregon, but to provide it from people coming from all over. One of the girls actually came from the UK, and it was really, really beautiful to see. I was also grateful to be able to bring my daughter with me, and she jumped right in there to make the ladies feel really welcoming and beautiful. And to be honest, having this personal project be so close to me, but then also being able to, bring her along and see the journey and see what other survivors look like and how supportive these individuals can be. It was really just a really beautiful experience. And so if you actually know anybody, I highly recommend it. There's these retreats all over the United States. And the group is just absolutely welcoming. As you can see, we do a lot of changes in clothes. And as you can see, she's still wearing tennis shoes. So there's absolutely no shots from the lower half of your body. So it's kind of silly. But we do jewelry. We do different furs, if you want to use weapons, you don't have to. That's not something that is required. Again, it's an individual choice. I just have the options. As you can see, the gal here, just even simplistic of just having some rope to hold on to, right, is just like, giving her that strength, the power, the tense, what's the strength of it? Tension, that's what it is. I was thinking of chemo brain to tell you it's a thing. And so we did this look, and we just kept changing things out. It was a lot of fun. This lovely lady was able to see her images for the first time in print. And it was just absolutely stunning.
And what you do for these women and myself, you were able to capture how strong we are.
Why am I crying?
It was such an amazing experience, and I will definitely talk about that today, because I can't explain in words how strong it made me feel.
Well, and it is something that we all have, and we forget, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I had to get it tattooed on my arm, so I remember it. But
right?
I know, I want them all.
I know, right? So as you can see, just the reaction. Now, she had already seen this image on in-person sales, and I do that. I do still do IPS with these women. I do offer one image because I want each and every woman to have at least one, regardless if they can afford it or not. It's really important to me. But this was her coming around the corner and seeing her image in print. I had it hand painted, and it was really, really special and quite the eye-catching image. Her big thing was she just wanted to look fierce, but also look pretty. And I think she nailed it every inch from top to bottom. Great things in personal projects. You can also utilize them in print competitions. So obviously this image really spoke to me. It was one that I did in San Francisco of a woman who actually did have implants at one time and her body rejected them. And so she was forced to go flat. And it's really fun to get to know these ladies' stories. And I was really, really proud to win the award of storytelling, because that's exactly what I'm trying to do for these ladies and myself. They are warriors, and we should see ourselves just as that. And so, personal projects can get you closer to perhaps a merit or whatever your goal might be. And it's validation that you're going in the right direction, because your heart's in it and it shows in your images. So embrace every ounce of individuality, blah, blah, blah. That's a big word for me. And just run with it. If you have an idea, we live in a creative industry, right? So we can just jump out there and be silly and just, if I always have to have like a sign on my wall or outside my door when I do these sessions to just be like, warrior session in progress. If you hear growling or grunting or screaming, everybody's okay. But it's so much fun. And as you can see, some of them I do some like creative liberties and they don't know what I'm going to do. I just kind of play around with it and it's a lot of fun. Obviously different looks. This lady, I loved her glasses. And so after she was done, I was like, we have to get one, just with your glasses, because it just fits the whole scene. And this beautiful lady, she has the most unique story. And her big thing was she just wanted to be a phoenix. And that was what she said to me the moment she signed up. And I was able to show this to her just a few days ago. And it really, really made an impression on her in a time that she really needed it, because she was going through a really hard time. And it's just also a constant reminder that the power that these images are providing for these women, even after they may not know that they need it. So it's been a fantastic journey thus far. I can't believe I started this in May of 2023. It is something that I truly feel is my ultimate, my legacy. I was really struggling prior to my diagnosis to understand what my legacy was going to be. We photograph dogs, which is fantastic. And I just felt like there was something more that I needed to provide the community. And in doing so, this has just filled, I say dog portraits fill my heart and these warrior sessions fill my soul, because I really feel like this is bigger than me. I feel like this is a complete movement. No one's doing this. I feel like I'm on the right path. I'm manifesting this to go well past Oregon and just grow this to something even more magical. And I would have never understood that was going to be the case, having this diagnosis. And, when I first had that, I was like, cancer wasn't going to define me. And here I am. It's sort of defining me in the way that I need to do this. This is just something that is literally filling my soul, to see the women transform themselves, have the photo shoot, make new friends, see their images, give them permission to have them on their wall. What's really fun, I just this summer only did like 2 events and kind of brought it out to the community on like a couple different markets. And I will tell you, it was hilarious to see the men, the husbands, the boyfriends, they were dragging the women over to my booth because it was such a unique look. They were like, I want my wife to do this. And in also doing that, there was a few ladies that had just recently been diagnosed, and I could tell that they wanted to reach out, and it gave me the opportunity to open that conversation, to be like, how can I support you? Like, this is more than just photos. This is, helping people. A lot of times women, it's easier to burden a stranger. So I'm forever, giving my information out. And just to, like, if someone just needs, someone to just say that they're okay, and it's okay to be sad on certain days, and to lift them up. And it's just been really, really beautiful to watch how much the community has embrace this. And so 2024, I am manifesting this whole thing so much to just make sure and, get the word out about this project, because it is so meaningful to me. It has been so meaningful to the women that have actually gone through the process and done the experience with us. And to be honest, in a bigger picture, I see this as a huge museum showcase. I mean, the power that you would see all these women printed in large print in a gallery, just celebrating their life, whatever that may look like, and as long or as short as that may be, because some of these women do have a less than ideal diagnosis. And, all that we can do is celebrate the now, celebrate the day. When you have a cancer diagnosis, you very much shift. I wish I could provide the clarity that something like this gives you. Your yeses are very more selective, and your no's come a lot more easy. And so personal projects, I think is 100%. As a creative, it very well could just lead you down a path that you just were not aware of. And life's a beautiful thing, and you just have to roll with the punches and go with the flow. If someone told me I was going to be doing this 2 years ago, while I was an animal image maker in April, in fact, I missed the flat retreat that was here in Oregon, because I was in Minneapolis at the conference. And that actually got me to the point of creating this project, after seeing the community support each other, and just allowing women, and seeing their comments during the whole retreat, feeling validated and feeling not so alone. And that is one of the main reasons why I knew that this project needed to be in a group of multiple women, because, we all know being in front of the camera, even myself, can be a scary thing. Like, as photographers, we being in front of the camera isn't always ideal for us either. And my husband made me do a session. And in doing so, it was, excuse me, it was really empowering. And it was the first time I had seen pictures of myself straight out of camera that I liked, and didn't want to be like, oh, I need to liquefy that, because I think it allowed me to have a persona per se, and not just, wife, mom, mother. And so it allowed me to be a character. And so therefore it was viewing myself as that, as my alter ego, instead of, just the everyday, person that just lives life as a normal human being. So it's just been really, really life consuming. And the only hope that I have, and for anybody listening today, is if you could share it. If you know someone that's going through this, have them reach out to me, even if it's not to do a session. My phone is open. if you have questions, maybe you know someone that's going through this, I'm also open to, telling you, maybe if you're struggling to find a way to support someone in that way, I'd be happy to help. But ultimately, this whole project has filled my soul with purpose, and is ultimately, I'm confident that this is the legacy that I was meant to be and meant to have in my life. So, oh my goodness, I feel like I've been talking forever.
Well, I love it. I think it is such an important project, and I love that you found something that most people think of as a really like a hardship, and you've turned it around and made it into a positive thing. It's a difficult thing, and what would you say to somebody who is looking for a personal project, who maybe doesn't have an event or something specific that has happened to them, or to somebody like one of their loved ones that would spark them down a road like what you've found? How do they go about finding something to do as a personal project? Any
Ultimately,
advice?
yeah, I even before all of this, I always had those days where I would rent lenses, that ones that I would never ever buy for the most part, and just go play. And it would spark your creativity, and you would start like, kind of like, if you start feeling something really filling you with purpose or just making you happy, roll with it. See, brainstorm. I'm a huge mind mapper. And so I will take a topic and just be like, well, what's the positive, and how could this transform, and how could this grow, or how, there's so many different avenues that you can go through. And it doesn't have to be even, just anything outside of the box. It doesn't, obviously I love photographing animals, and I would have never thought that I would be doing this. I will say though, Lisa, I am super excited for the opportunity to find a warrior with like a really big dog and get them totally warriored up as well. I mean, it's going to happen. I just know it.
Yes. I love it.
But yeah, honestly, if you really evaluate things that make you happy, not other people, but you, and just kind of expand on that. Why does it make you happy? Is there a component of it? My daughter said that, she wasn't really happy in her job. And I'm like, well, what do you like about your job? And she's like, well, I like, talking to people and making coffee. And I'm like, well, is it the making the coffee, or is it the people? And she's like, well, it's really the people. And I'm like, okay. So kind of piecing it together and finding out what really is the driving factor, I think really helps guide you in a personal project, because it's ultimately, something that you are really passionate about, and maybe something you didn't realize you were passionate about. Getting out there and trying new stuff is, to be honest, I think the biggest thing that anyone could ever do for a project like this. And just, if you've always wanted to try light painting, or, go out and do it. Like, it's totally doable and fun. And, you don't have to worry about a client, needing to like it, or, because it's a personal project, and it's personal to you.
Yeah, I love it. And that's really one of the big reasons that I wanted you to be a part of tonight, because even though, this organization is all about animal photography, and obviously you're a part of this community as well, because you do photograph pets, and that's what brought us all together. But you've kind of gone off on this completely different thing. And it's so clear how passionate about it you are. And that's what I love so much, is seeing that passion, and, you've found your thing, and it's your thing. And we all have that opportunity to find our thing and find our passion. And, it's one thing, to photograph pets every single day, which I love, and I know you love, and so many of us love, but it does get a little bit like, all right, next. And when you can find that passion project, it just re-energizes you, and it really ignites your soul. And I can so see that in you. And I love that.
And that is the thing about personal projects. I have, like, that's pretty much what everybody has said. They're like, there's no doubt that I'm passionate about this, right? And that's ultimately because it's how it's making me feel, how it's making these women feel. And yeah, it's just, and the fact that it's so unique and it's personal to me. And I think it's the uniqueness. And it doesn't even have to be super unique, right? If, there's no different than, I'm sorry, I forget his name, the one that does like underwater dogs, that's unique. It's not everybody's doing that. And I know there's other things, if you like boating, like there's whatever it may be, expand on it. Think about how that might, and how that might grow, how it might improve your purpose, your reason to get up in the morning, so to speak. Because this project has gotten, now it's just not even in Oregon, right? Because I went to San Francisco, and I've already been approached by some of the hospitals wanting to do this with some of the cancer children camps. And I'm like, absolutely, right? Yeah. I mean, obviously I'm not going to be bringing the weapons and stuff like that, but yeah.
Maybe you are.
Well, yeah, I mean, some of them are like literally rubber, they're nothing, but yeah, they're it's just bigger than me. And, I know you saw that I met a little girl who has leukemia, and I told her mom, I gave her my card, and I'm like, look, I know you're getting ready to have her go through a transplant. Give me a call. I haven't done any little kids yet, and I would love to, showcase that to her. So yeah, it's ever evolving.
Right. And, I think the thing with your project too, is that, with cancer, it's one of those things that physically, I can see it and other people can see it, but mentally is such a personal thing, I think, from one person to the next. How have you, have you noticed that your portraits, your warrior women portraits, has it been a huge positive thing for these women that you've worked with, as well as for yourself, to just help on the mental side of it, pushing through and helping with the healing mentally as well? Because I haven't been through it, but I can imagine how difficult that is.
It really is. You're thrown into something that it's not a choice, right? I consider it being drafted for war, right? You have no choice in the matter. You're just drafted and you got to go. And due to chemo, I've already forgotten your question. I tell you, I will forget what I'm talking about mid-sentence, and I'm just like, oh my God, I feel like a bonehead.
No, it's all good. No, I was asking about just basically the effect of your portraits mentally on your client.
So mentally, these ladies, let's just say I always have to have the tissues ready for me and for them, because they don't see themselves that way until I show them that. And on top of it, just having fun, right? Just coming to the studio and just playing and not really thinking about necessarily cancer itself, but just, who you are and what character you want to be. And, they're excited. They're like, eventually I'm going to need to hire an editor because I can't edit fast enough, because these ladies want these images so fast because they've just had such a great experience, just from the day. And so again, I know that by doing this project, I'm making a difference to them, but ultimately they're making a difference to me as well. Because, those who don't, right? So, I like trying to see myself as a warrior. When I'm telling them that, I'm constantly going, and you too, Danyel, right? And so, they're changing my life just as much as I am theirs.
I love it. And, you know, I really love your concept of having 4 women doing this at the same time. And I think it's super cool that they don't always know one another, because I would imagine that that is completely building that community and giving these people
Yeah.
lifelong friends and this experience that they've shared on top of an experience that they've shared.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, no, after I've finished, photographing each of the ladies, because we do them individually, and then, I turn around and they're exchanging phone numbers, and it just like I'm like, this is exactly why I wanted to do it this way. Or, maybe they've already met their best friend because of a cancer diagnosis. So they'll come together and share that experience. So it works in so many different avenues that it's really cool to watch.
Yeah, I love it. I love that you're doing this. And yeah, it's just, I can't wait to see where you take it from here, because it's amazing. And thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, like I said, my biggest thing is I just want to shout this to the world and just be like, I want this to show up on Times Square and just be like, yeah, these ladies are amazing. And like I said, I just picture this being so much bigger than just my little studio. So we'll see.
Well, and now you've put it out there in the world. So
I know. I'm super excited. Well, and going forward in 2024, I have created a second rig to my my tripod that I'm using, so that I can actually shoot video as well as photograph them at the same time, at the same angle, so that I can really kind of incorporate different mediums to do like posting and things like that. Because it is an experience, and video's there too. But it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Awesome. Any final parting words, advice to somebody else, or words of wisdom to somebody who's thinking about starting a project?
Honestly, just think outside the box. And ultimately find what makes your heart sing. That is ultimately what it is. If you have a passion, if it's not dogs, if it's something else in it, and to be honest, it may not even be photography. That's kind of the direction a lot of us are going. But personal projects are just that. Just find something that makes you happy, because as I've learned, we're not promised tomorrow, and I live my life now after this journey to just know that if I go to sleep tonight, will I be proud for what I've done today? And that's ultimately how I want everybody to live, and just feel like, just live that day, live in the moment, find what makes you happy, find what makes your heart sing, and just move forward with that. Because there's too much drama and hate in the world. Let's just lift everybody up.
I couldn't have said it better. 100%. That's
right.
It's a beautiful sentiment. So thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, this has just been awesome. And I really think that you have inspired people to think outside the box, like you've said a couple of times, and really look beyond what we do on a regular basis, and find those things that make us happy and make us passionate, and find a way to put that out into the world and help other people,
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And, and in a personal project, it could just be just something personal to you. Obviously, if you're really passionate about, like, I went through this whole like miniature photography, like little Lego, and I'm like, this is so cool. I would love to do this. So yeah, it's so much. I love the fact that art can go in so many different avenues. And honestly, I'm excited to see what everybody tries to create.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to have everybody share something that they've done as a result of tonight.
I love it.
As a result of this, this inspiration, share it online and let us know. So
absolutely. Awesome. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing your project and your story and everything that you're doing with it. It's phenomenal. So, and
thank you.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I get emotional about it. Not even one of
I
you.
know. And that's okay. And that's the thing is, it's affecting even people in their families and their friends, right? The lady that just saw her image that, was just in print, her friend was right next to her and she's like, why am I crying? It's not even me in the picture. And, you can feel the emotion. So yeah, I think it's changing a lot of people's lives and making everybody really see themselves for who they are.
Yep, I love it. Where can people get more information?
Everything, every single aspect of this project is at Warrior Women Portraits. At Warrior Women Portraits, it's everywhere. If you scan the QR code, it will give you all the information about the Warrior Project, even, my pet stuff. And, share, honestly, just share. If you have someone that could benefit from this, if there's an organization that you think might be benefit this type of experience, let me know. Because, this is just, I feel like this is just going to be huge.